Are you having burritos for lunch?
Welcome to ASP Stuff Radio, the deeply profound or profoundly confusing internet radio show that talks about valuable stuff about the world and human existence and how to put on a goddamn poncho if your life depended on it. Today is January 28th. I'm your host, Albertotle. Joining me this Saturday morning are your beloved co-stars, Steveocrates and Paulato. Welcome.
Thank you very much, game show host, man.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes.
Good morning, America.
Good. In today's news, we're going to go.
I'm serious about it.
Good old friend George W. Bush.
He's back. Maybe,
So eloquent.
yeah, maybe he'll help out run our country or be buddy with Orange Chicken.
Buddy with chicken. No, I don't think Bush and Trump would get along well.
No, I think Trump is the best thing that could have ever happened to Bush.
Trump is
W.
Well, who's smarter?
Makes him look like a much better president.
Yeah.
Who do you think has a higher IQ?
Oh, Trump for sure.
Trump does, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Let me. There would have been a deficit, but there wouldn't have been the commiserate, the kick to our economy.
What?
The commiserate.
Do you have the clip of the shame on you?
Oh, yeah, I have that one, yeah.
Oh yeah, play it.
I got that one.
There's an old saying in Tennessee. I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again."
If we can't get fooled again.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic W.
That could never happen to Donald Drumpf.
Oh man,
Dump.
freedom back. 4 more years.
Do you know the saying, Steveocrates? The famous...
Fool me once.
Mm-hmm.
Fool me once. Shame on me, and fool me twice. Shame on you.
No, shame on me.
I thought that was it. Well, how did it go then?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Oh, I had it switched up.
Fool me again, can't get fooled.
What if
You're
you
not going to get fooled in text.
What if you fooled me 3 times?
Then shame on you and me, and the Lord above. All right, so what are we going to talk about today?
More Trump.
More Drumpf in Mexico?
We should get specific, like our ability to buy avocados.
So Trump wants to build a wall near the south border of the United States, and he's going to make Mexico pay for it. How's that going to happen?
With avocados.
With avocados. No, I think the most esteemed math professors are still trying to figure that out.
Really? They're still economists, math professors, physicists.
They're trying to break that code, figure out what's really... How is Mexico paying for the wall?
It's like trying to figure out how to split the atom, huh? Close to that.
Well, I thought Trump wants to impose a 20% tax on imported goods from Mexico. So that way...
They know that part, but they're trying to figure out how Mexico's paying for the wall.
From the tax.
Well, it's like an indirect thing, right?
Right.
So it just works with the tax or the tariff.
But that ends up coming out of Mexico? Their wallet?
Well, I guess...
No.
Does Mexico have a wallet?
I don't understand how that ends up incurring an economic loss on their part.
It's a
Well, if
complex
there's a tariff, so there's a tariff on us buying avocados, and then we would, I guess, supplement that wall with this food tariff. Is that how that works?
I don't know. I guess what we'll have to do
Or is it
is
the opposite?
I think-
Mexicans buying food.
We're gonna have to try to solve the algorithm.
We're gonna, for our next show, we're gonna each come up with our own theory on exactly how Mexico is going to pay for that wall.
Wait, is it tariffs on Americans or is it on Mexicans?
Well, it's going to affect Americans for sure.
Americans. You
gonna-
buy an avocado for $3, it'll cost you $3.60.
Yeah, if you want to buy
Actually, they're more than that. Avocados
or however much they are.
It's going to go up, and
so that's not.
It's going to affect
Mexicans pay for it. That's American.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our task is to figure out how Mexico is actually paying for this wall.
without the U.S. consumer being affected.
Doesn't exist. It's not happening.
I'll have to figure it out.
Okay.
We'll do that next show.
It might take like hours upon hours of research and calculation.
Which I know you're going to be doing because you like to do homework before the show.
Will be.
Yeah. You like to dig deep and search the heart of the internet and rack your brains trying to fill your audience with valuable information about Mexico and sheriffs. Now,
you have W saying terrorists.
But see, in California, we make our own avocados.
we grow our own.
We'll be all right.
We grow our own goddamn vegetables. We don't need no Mexican avocados.
No, they're better over here too.
Check that label on that avocado you bought.
Yeah.
Make sure it's not from Mexico.
It might be laced with some cocaine.
Baja, California, like both.
No, that's Mexico.
I really, I'm serious about it.
Isn't that like both? Baja.
They should grow avocados along the border so we can each pay for it somehow. Split the difference. Split the avocado.
How about built into the wall is like an avocado exchange stand?
You just hand each other
like a little slit, that door that you slide open, and you just
it'll be like
some avocado.
And then they'll accept donations too. You can supplement, help fund that wall.
Yeah. There'll be a couple pennies and a dime in there. Close to that 25 billion target.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully
grab him by the pussy
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
pussy.
So help me, bitch.
So did you guys survive the dystopian inaugural address by your favorite Donald Drumpf?
All 16 minutes. Is that what it was?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people there, right?
It was the largest crowd in the history of inaugurations, period.
The largest, smallest crowd. Just to be clear, that's the largest, smallest crowd.
And there's no way you can estimate numbers, but it was the largest crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
No one had numbers, but it's the largest crowd.
No one had. Well, there's no way of getting an accurate count, right?
Right, but it was the largest crowd.
Just take my word for it.
Period.
All right, we're going to shift gears. One of the topics for today's show is what things are good. And I'm not talking about food. Well, I guess you could talk about food, but
that's important to you.
Avocados. But what do you value most in life and why? Now, it might be a particular food item like avocados made in Mexico, or maybe not. So what values do you think contribute to your leading a good life? And maybe you can explain in more detail what you mean by those values and why do you think they're important to you?
Well, what's important to a lot of people? Like we've during this election season, we've seen people express their own ideas, their own ideals. And I think a lot of people put religion first.
Yeah, they put God
first.
The Lord
Almighty.
Not killing babies is very important, we've seen.
The juicy topic, abortion. Hey, I could see a little
lammy.
A little lamb out there trying to walk into Paulato's bedroom. Lammy.
We all said that brings another value. We value our lammies.
We value our kids, our pets, our kid pets, our pet kids,
and our pets,
baby kids.
And why is that so important?
I don't know. Or maybe digestive health is important.
Yeah, having good bowel movements is a value. It's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. It's important to your daily life. So what is important
that covers it.
So you think that's what most people in America value most? Digestive health, God, and their pets.
We covered it all. Is there anything else worth living for?
Or let's go around first.
Round robin.
Yeah. I wasn't sure how general or broad to go, but
I think I went Yeah, I probably took the broad approach.
Yeah.
We're philosophical people.
Like I didn't
That's
go
what they
down
do.
to the level of the avocado.
Well, I know my values have changed over the course of my life, and I'm sure they'll change as I age. For example, when I was younger, I thought dorky computer games like Space Quest were prized possessions. But
Yeah, they are.
they still are.
They're relics.
They're
now.
relics, but
But you can can't you dial that up a little bit, to a broader sense? What does
Yeah,
that game represent there for you?
well, let's see. On my list, I would probably categorize that underneath companionship.
So Roger Wilco was your companion.
He
for all
was my
those years.
companion. Those games were my companions. So how about I start with... I'll start then.
Okay.
We'll go with ASP order.
All right, ASP, that makes sense. All right, companionship, even though that was my third one on my list.
Albertotle, go first.
Yeah, so companionship. Humans are social animals, and the natural feeling of belonging or connecting with someone or something is an essential part of human nature. Companionship can involve another human being, such as a genuine non-social media friend, a family member, a loved one, a non-human being, such as a pet cat or tortoise, a plant or a tree, or nature as a whole, or even an infinite cosmic being. So that's how I understand companionship. But why is companionship important? Well, for one, it sucks being alone all of the time. For example, it is better to read a book next to a couple of warm and furry feline creatures when it's dark and cold outside than by yourself, your philosopher self. 2, a companion can make life more meaningful, colorful, and enjoyable. You have the opportunity to share your life with that particular entity. My robot's broken. Number 3.
Does not compute.
Life becomes more easily bearable with a companion, especially when you learn that a certain person that you didn't vote for in the 2016 presidential election was chosen by the Electoral College. And finally, companionship can give you a deeper and richer appreciation of solitude.
That was deep.
But
So that's a big, that's a big one.
yeah, so I think that's something I value.
So you put that above abortion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean,
Moving on.
I had to pick 3, so
Yeah, I know. We were limited.
It's
limited.
very limited here.
Steveocrates.
Okay, well, we each pick 3, or are we going in?
We'll go around.
Your
So
top- your next-
Okay, the top. Maybe top loved ones. Which, it's similar to companionship. But I think I think of when I do something by myself, I don't enjoy it as much, and I think we get more meaning out of what we do in life if we're together with somebody that we love. I think of who I live my life with right now with Caroline, and we're able to live our lives together and bring meaning together. And then also family is part of those loved people.
oh yeah, make sure you throw that in case they're listening.
Yeah, well, and family is on the radio here as well.
That's right.
So I've learned a lot from my fellow robot or philosophers.
Philosophers in hiding.
Yeah.
Okay, so loved ones.
Loved ones, good. To
So you put loved ones up ahead of abortion.
That's
Slippery slope.
life in general, I guess. I don't know.
I took a little bit of a different approach. I was looking at more like different aspects of life that are, or what you value in terms of how to live life. So I put the health and well-being of family and society as a whole, but the health and well-being, like your health, that's, to me, has to be right up there, because without that, then how much of life can you actually enjoy? Even if you do have loved ones, if you're sick, bedridden, or you can't, do much, then there's, life isn't really that enjoyable. You can't really do whatever you want. It's something that's easily taken for granted. So I think as long as you have your health, and your well-being. So you don't want to be poor and on the streets or homeless. So you do need that health and your sort of stability. So I think that's an important aspect. So I put that as one of the top priorities of life. You need that in order to really enjoy it.
It's supposed to be a ding, 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 ding. Very good, because that was my number one pick too. So,
but why did you say your
like minds think alike?
Oh yeah, but you
were supposed to say we're not doing random orders. I thought we were doing number one first.
We were on the topic of a companionship somehow.
Oh, so you just segued
segued right into that. That was my third. I thought I mentioned that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because I was talking about Space Quest, and then something that went right into my third pick.
So you're going backwards.
Yeah, I went backwards.
Gone backwards.
Oh well.
Yeah, I wasn't going backwards.
It's all right.
All right. Then do your second one, Albertotle.
All right, my second one, reason, or what I like to call cognitive powers. And I define cognitive powers as the intellectual capacity to think well, formulate judgments, and critically evaluate and analyze the opinions and actions of others, as well as your own. Cognitive powers are valuable for a number of reasons. 1. Just like Trump's oil rigs can discover and extract oil from the earth, our mental capacities are tools to discover knowledge and truth about the universe. Number 2. Cog powers help us point out errors rather than just blindly accept the faulty reasoning of others, or the questionable customs and habits of society. For example, without putting to good use our mental powers, we couldn't question why it is morally wrong to cause harm to another person or sentient being, or why it's politically detrimental to our nation for Donald Trump to ban Muslims from the United States, or how his recent approval to build more oil pipelines can have a negative impact on our one and only blue dot. Number 3, cognitive powers can break us free from our mental constipation of ignorance, personal prejudices, and biases by broadening our perspective on the world and other matters involving human existence. And finally, cognitive powers may help you become an authentic human being. By sifting through all of your beliefs that you've accumulated over a lifetime, you can determine which ones to accept and reject, and therefore hopefully discover who you are or what your true potential is. And I know that if I didn't employ my intellectual powers on whether to continue my computer science degree, I probably would have been leading a spiritually unfulfilling, miserable, and inauthentic life, although I might have been making more bank. Bling, bling.
Bling. More bling.
Be balling for sure.
I'd be balling.
Could have been, yeah. Could have been an all-time baller.
I take it you would never read a book that says the end of reason.
No.
That's called the end.
No, if I saw a book,
wow,
which reminds me that I have an interesting. I used that book for my classroom because it came up for.
It's under your desk to keep it level.
Yeah, I use it as a podium to keep my water level with the desk. But no, I used it to illustrate a fallacy. I would never read that book just for the sake of it. Especially because of the title.
Did you open it up?
The End of Reason.
Did you flip through the pages?
I just read 10 pages and that was it. And
then
all you had to read. You might want to.
It's behind me.
Probably should have given you a different book. There's a book that's actually called The Reason for God.
The Reason for God.
Yeah, that's probably a more fitting book. It actually uses reason.
Yeah,
right? They probably should have looked at that as a gift.
If you
these
say
other unknown people.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you say the end of reason, then you can't reason your way to demonstrate the existence of God.
Were you going to read an excerpt?
Yeah, it was.
This is important.
Oh, it was. It's right there next to your bed.
Well, no,
I
sleep with this book.
The table?
I sleep with this book underneath. I put it underneath my pillow. No, it was right next to my teacher bag.
Okay.
So I started the class after having gone over some common fallacies in thinking and human reasoning, and the very first chapter we have the following. So this is the prologue. A university student arrives home and informs his parents that after reading a popular atheist book, he has renounced his family's faith. His mother, particularly, is shattered by the news. The father struggles to engage his son in dialogue, but to no avail. The deepening grief causes them to distance themselves from their son. When the game of silence does not work, the mother is plunged further into depression and despair. The grandparents become involved, watching in anguish as beliefs that have been held dear in the family for generations crumble. Before long, this family that was once close and peaceable is now broken and hostile. Abusive words between mother and son are exchanged with increasing frequency and intensity, and the siblings blame their brother's new strident atheism for the rift in the family. After one long night of arguing with her son, pleading unsuccessfully with him to reconsider his position, the mother takes an overdose of prescription medication and ends her life, unable to accept what she interprets to be the destruction of her family.
Look what you did.
What fallacy is this?
It's not logical.
The students automatically said slippery slope, where you assume,
why is that?
You assume that one innocent step is going to lead to a highly unlikely chain reaction of events.
Yeah.
So if you're an atheist, then your mom's going to commit suicide.
It's possible.
But and then the brilliant part, the paragraph right after, he says, although this particular scenario is imaginary, I would suspect that in some measure similar scenes have played out more than a few times.
And it's directly linked to some kid reading a book about atheism.
Yeah. So I like how he
There's
says,
no other contributing factors, such as probably that father is a little uptight and probably abuses his wife.
Doesn't get into that
get
abusive
into that.
relationship.
no, there's a lot of suppressed
Maybe
stuff.
the mom is doing drugs. We don't know.
No.
It's really just because the son.
boy.
Yeah,
It's
that would be another fallacy. Oversimplified.
How old is this little boy?
I doesn't
10
say-
years old.
10.
Yeah, probably
So he's
not even
the
a teenager.
cause of every bad thing in that family.
So I think that guy who wrote that is not using his reason. He's being irrational.
Well, it is the end of reason.
So yeah, your number 2 is meaningless.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Who cares about cognitive powers? All right.
Steveocrates.
Well, my number 2 was like Paul's number 1. So that was health.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's hear
And
your how did you?
The reason for that is because, if you didn't have your health, then you're not going to be able to enjoy life. I go back to my own hobbies, like playing basketball. If I was stuck to the bed or in a wheelchair, I couldn't do any of that.
Or if you had pneumonia all the time.
Ugh.
Yeah, pneumonia or coughing all the time. Can't go to work, can't do anything. Need to be healthy. And if you're not healthy, you won't be able to live that long either. You might have only a few years or something like that and have not much to look forward to.
Yeah, you'd probably have like a life expectancy of, I think Russia, it's like 60 or something, 70 maybe.
As of today,
And
this.
for
I don't
Russia,
know. Have to look that. Check the fact.
Although that might be an
Alternative fact.
imaginary thought in Paul's brain, I'm sure that
actually
might be
better
true.
than America now.
Yeah, America's not that great right now.
Cold, yeah,
I think,
young athletes dying.
Scandinavian countries are doing the best in the world.
It's
You
because-
might want to think about moving to Russia now.
I think it's because they're not eating red meat,
That could be it.
and the lamb over there agrees with me.
Yeah.
Little lamb, Locrates.
Lamb Locrates back there.
She doesn't want to be eaten.
Uh-oh.
The lamb. All right.
So that was your number 2, health. My number 2, I put as similar to health, but also important is safety. You don't want to live in a violent area where your life could be in danger, or you're living in constant fear. So you want to feel safe. You want to have that comfort, making sure that making sure that your family is safe and that you don't have to worry about that. You can just do what you want to do. If you want to read a book about reason, you can, and go to the library. You don't have to worry about somebody pulling out a gun and shooting you up.
Yeah, no,
We don't have that anymore.
that makes sense. I want to be able to walk to my classroom without the fear of getting shot because I'm brown
Yeah.
or Middle Eastern looking. Well,
Or
actually,
that you're not going to be detained by some border officer just because you look like you might be Mexican.
What-
Some of your nice values here are somewhat related to our current situation.
Yeah. I think Paul's trying to jab
hint
at
at
the world. You voted for
Well,
Trump. This is what you get. This is what you take for granted.
Yeah, well,
Pick these up above some of the other values that we've heard recently.
I mean, we hold these truths to be self-evident,
I think they are self-evident.
and now they're not so much anymore.
When I went to pick up a package, it was a book, but it had this bright orange tape wrapped around it. And,
Orangey chickenish.
no, it was like this bright orange. The package looked like it could be suspicious. So you imagine this brown, Middle Eastern, Muslim-looking guy walking around ASU with this brown package with this bright neon strip. It looks like I'm carrying an explosive device, and I'm thinking, oh, god damn it, this cop's gonna pull me over and question me, and so yeah, that comes to mind.
People giving you dirty looks.
Probably. Just they look at me like, oh shit, this guy's carrying a bomb. This is the bomb. Middle
You're in the
Eastern.
Wild West down in Arizona, Ottle.
So I was thinking about my safety and
See,
Probably-
that distracts you from thinking about the things you want to think about.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be a thought.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even worry about that.
probably wouldn't have even thought twice about it if some orange-looking man hadn't been preaching about banning Muslims. And
Spreading fear.
anyway,
So that was my number 2. So what's your number 1, Albertotle?
well, my number 1 is Paul's number 1, and that is health. First and foremost, intrinsic good that I value dearly and which I believe contributes to your leading a good life and, of course, a long life. So I'd like to define health as the perpetuation of the absence of illness or injury. Health is important for the following reason, and the only reason. It is the bedrock on which everything else lies. Without good health, nothing else matters. When your well-being is on vacation, so is your life. I learned that when I suffered from my first bad case of pneumonia, all the things that were once enjoyable, like taking a walk, playing a sport, eating food, reading a book, watching a movie, teaching philosophy, and so on, are no longer pleasant activities. At the very least, they become difficult to achieve or appreciate. They seem to be futile attempts to distract your discomfort. It's hard to enjoy doing philosophy while your lungs are filled with liquid. Just ask Descartes. He died from pneumonia at the age of 54. And I'm not just referring to having a healthy body, but also a healthy mindset. One that is free of distress, anxiety, tension, or some other mental disturbance. When your mind is not at ease, or you're constipated with dogmatism, life can be heavy, and I don't mean it in the Marty McFly sense from Back to the Future when he says, Doc,
Whoa, this is heavy. This is heavy.
Lots of constipation.
I noticed. I was about to say that.
Mental constipation.
Mental constipation.
that's the theme
going
here.
on.
So yeah, health is very important.
Goes back to digestive, mental.
Digestive health, yeah. What good is texting on the toilet when your bowels are...
Probably can't tweet while you're having digestive.
That's the opposite of constipation.
Yeah, lack of too much.
Or
coconut.
constipated, or bowel.
Too
You can
much
have,
coconut milk.
they're either too lax or too rough.
Gotta be regular.
So number 3. So Albert went number 1. I'm doing number 3. I put have my job, I guess, because that I feel like leads to my well-being in an indirect way. Maybe this is my childhood or upbringing. I didn't originally, when I was younger, I didn't think I have the confidence to get a job, and now that I do have one, it's a stable job. It's not a stressful job. I can kind of take care of myself with my job. Don't have to do much else. And other
Get
people
the weekend
who
off.
I got the weekend off. It's like I said, it's stable for now. I don't know about in the future, but at least I thought it was going to be all right for eons. But we never know. But I think I look at my job. I don't know if that's the root of my well-being, but I go back to Maybe it kind of links up maybe to Albertotle's mental health. You know, if I didn't have a good mental health, then I wouldn't be able to have gotten my job or maintained my job.
So financial stability, having a job, that's important. It's really important.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 would be freedom of expression. So
Paul's taking the constitutional approach. I like it.
I think this is important. And this includes religion too, right? So you're free to practice whatever religion you want or be an atheist. But the freedom of expression is important because it allows for things like this free forum to talk, discuss things, express your ideas. If you do reason, you can write a philosophy book. If you don't, you can write a book about, not having any reason. So you're free to express yourself. And that's really important. You're free to be critical of people. You're free to praise people. You're free to say whatever you want. Because if you don't have that, then you're pretty much living in a bubble. You're restricted and you're pretty much a robot. We don't want to be robots, and that's why we're not even calling people by robot names. So freedom of expression is really important. Yeah. So that's number 3.
Otherwise, we'll be living in George Orwell's dystopian society, which, by the way, is a popular number 1 book now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you read that. This news. It has to do a reprint last week or so. Amazon's been getting a lot of orders. People have been wanting to buy 1984 in light of Trump.
That was one of your Elfster things. Predicted what was popular then.
Without even knowing. Freedom of expression is very important.
It's apparently also the top 10 Kindle download.
Oh, it is.
Jeez. So that's what that's what our
fake news. Yeah.
That's what our forefathers fought for, right? I think Paulato is highlighting some of those things, I guess, that the America that we all value.
Yeah, apparently even in the First Amendment, the first part that they mention is freedom of religion. Which is I feel like we're going backwards.
Yeah.
We're losing those values.
I think,
right?
My prediction is Trump is going to modify the First Amendment somehow, preventing mass media or reporters from freely expressing their opinions about his actions.
You can't be critical.
You can't be critical. Sorry.
Can't be critical. Yeah.
Like Kim Jong-il in North Korea.
Yeah, we're gonna be like
Kim Jong-il. But that's true. In Korea, if you say anything negative or critical about him, then you get your hand chopped off. You're in prison. Sorry. Keep your mouth shut.
Drumpf is going to start chopping hands off?
No, he's not that extreme. But he alluded to putting some kind of restriction on what the news... Well, that's why they came up with the fake news bullshit. That was just a ploy to give them a reason to stop people from freely expressing themselves.
Yeah, and the guy, Breitbart News or whatever his name is, he was saying the media needs to take a break. Just take some time off. Don't stop asking questions. Just listen for a while.
Yeah, just blindly accept whatever we say.
Yeah.
Don't question it. Don't judge it. Don't criticize it. Analyze it. Evaluate it.
Don't reason.
Just accept the facts for what they are.
Well, it's a lack of facts. You're accepting the fake news, right? And that's part of the reason why Drumpf is now in office, right? Because people were just blindly accepting these fake news, right? I don't know, what was it? The Hillary Clinton had somebody killed or whatever,
but the point is, fake news or not, just don't question anything. Just accept what Trump has to say or what he's going to do.
That's
un-American. It's un-American to be critical. It's un-American to be critical.
Neo-Nazis. That's how Hitler got in power, because of propaganda. I don't know.
So those are, so being able to express, even say what you're saying.
No, that's very important. That's important. If you have no freedom of expression, what good use can you do with your cognitive powers? Your mental powers go down the drain. You're restricted. You're putting your mind is in a mental straitjacket.
Yeah, I feel like we're going back to the medieval days.
You're fed hemlock.
Yeah. Here's your damn hemlock and shut up.
So where does that land us?
In the realm of unhappiness.
So we got depressed after talking about our values. We just got deep and dark.
Yeah, we could criticize those values, but I think Trump's doing.
It's important. Yeah, it's important to say what they are. This is what we think is valuable, and it's not just abortion. Like that is important, but that's not number one. That shouldn't be the basis of making your decisions, nor should your religious beliefs, because everyone has their own religious beliefs.
Yeah, but somebody's just going to take that to the next level. Well, if you had aborted me, then I wouldn't be alive, so I wouldn't have life. So that's my number one value, right?
But abortion is, for me, I think of that as a personal, ethical, or moral decision that you shouldn't be imposing on someone else. You should give that person the freedom to decide what they want to do with their life. And if there is a God and he thinks it's bad, then he's going to punish that mofo.
Yeah.
Not you.
If their belief is, I don't want to get an abortion, then they won't. Just because you believe that doesn't mean you should enforce them to do that.
Yeah. I don't think the
so
government...
leave it in the Lord's hands? Is that what you're saying?
If that's what you believe,
What a concept. Okay.
And just like any moral belief, a personal moral belief that you have, why are you going to go out and impose that upon others to force people to believe and think and act the way that you do?
The golden rule. Do what to others what you expect for yourself.
In some,
in a way too. Right?
In some ways that's relevant. Like if I don't want my neighbor to steal my car, then I probably shouldn't steal her car. But I think abortion is a lot more personal. I don't think how a person decides what they want to do with their unborn is not going to affect someone else who thinks it's wrong.
It's lots to think about.
Time for a quick topic.
Sports. We're going to talk about sports. So why are athletes paid so much money? Now, I'm going to guess before you answer, and I had to use my mind powers, that the reason why athletes, and I didn't do any research, the reason why athletes are paid a lot of bling bling is because talent is hard to come by. So managers need to bid high prices to purchase the greatest professional players out there. Plus, there is a high demand from the masses who enjoy watching these talented players to compete with one another. And that's why they cost so goddamn much. Correct or incorrect?
So, number one's not correct.
Really?
Number two is, well, it's partially correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, within that space, but I mean, you have to have a reason that they're even paid that much. And we're talking specifically about, the main professional sports like soccer around the world, football here, basketball, baseball, hockey. We're not talking about like the person who plays, I don't know, what is that sport with a little ice where they
curling.
We're not talking about curling.
Canada
or bocce ball.
Canadian.
Yeah, those people don't
in Italy they play professionally bocce ball.
Yeah, those sports don't count. That doesn't require much physical exertion.
No, but the reason that these athletes get paid so much is because you are so willing to pay so much to either watch them or you want their clothes, their apparel. So because you find them so interesting and are willing to pay so much for whatever they bring, their product, that's why they get paid so much.
So I partially agree, partially disagree. And the reason I say that is there's a yin and a yang effect. The so-called he allowed it. What ends up happening is these big companies, corporations, they promote these sports so much that, almost like a drug, these people don't have a choice but to start enjoying it, following it. In a previous show, we talked about the beer aspect or all the alcohol that goes with it and the bra effect. So all these this herd mentality. All the friends end up following football Americana, and it becomes popular, and it's this slippery slope. Everybody and their grandmas end up being football fans. So yeah, there's a demand for it, but those corporations somewhat concoct this demand.
So through marketing, you would say that they use special techniques to psychologically press buttons and emotions into the consumer to make them think that they need to belong and be a part of something.
There you go.
Hey, the San Francisco Giants, I'm from San Francisco. I'm going to root for baseball and basketball and hockey from San Francisco or the Bay Area. And I like beer.
I mean, I partially agree with that, but they create this craze for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't find it entertaining, though, I don't know how much you would care about it. But yeah, it's entertainment.
Certain sports like football and MMA, is that what it's called?
Mixed martial arts.
Cater to UFC and whatever. They cater to being a little bit more exciting than curling and bocce ball.
Yeah,
that's true. Certain sports are good for that type of marketing, right?
Yeah, that's a theoretical, like the whole. Okay, why do we even care about sports? We find it entertaining, or that you could even say, it provides companionship because you can talk about it with other people. That's fun to play, so you play it, and then you want to watch the best people play it,
and it keeps you healthy. There's one of our values, health, physical health.
Yeah, so it ties our values in too.
Mm-hmm.
But why are they paid so much? Because we find some other things.
We allow it.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly. We allowed. So these guys get paid, or I say guys, and that's the other thing that's sort of an issue. But these athletes get paid so much. Like, I think the highest paid player, and it's a lot of it is also, it's not just the teams that pay them so much, the clubs, the organizations, but they make so much money in endorsements from advertising, from us buying their
Gatorade
apparel.
Or their hoodies or sweaters. And
so the number one highest paid athlete is, guess, who do you think?
I think it's some NASCAR driver, probably.
I'm going to guess some golf guy.
No,
or tennis guy.
Somebody who plays cricket.
No, some black person.
No, not cricket. The Portuguese soccer player.
Oh, okay.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Good job, Ronaldo. Good job. You kick the ball around and get paid billions of dollars.
He makes, millions. So he makes $88 million total a year. 56 of that is just his salary. And then another 32 million on top of that from endorsements.
Damn.
So
Ronaldo.
Good job.
Soccer's huge.
Yeah.
It is huge all over the world.
NASCAR?
But
I think the NASCAR guy is like fourth or sixth or something.
No, obviously that money's not coming from taxpayers' money. That's coming strictly from the private sector, people who control the, I don't know, in this case, soccer.
Well, you're paying for it. So you paid for the tickets to watch them play.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And then you pay for the products that the advertisers are selling. And that's how they get their money to get their stuff on their shirts or play their commercials during the games. So it's all the consumers that are pouring money, millions of dollars into this stuff.
Okay, so it's
the leagues get so much money,
mm-hmm.
and then the organizations in those leagues have so much money, and so it's like, well, we have all this money. There's a demand for it. We're going to pay our players all the dough.
But even if you take that out of the equation, where does the millions of dollars come into play? Where does that come from? So let's just assume, well, I don't know. I'm assuming that the managers are paying a lot of money too, contributing.
So there's these people who own the teams and own the leagues, right? That have already inherently a lot of money. They were born with it, right?
So you think Cristiano Ronaldo is rich? Just imagine how rich the owner of the soccer team is that he plays for.
Yeah.
That guy
is loaded.
Assuming it's a guy, a man.
Filthy.
Is he white?
Filthy rich. Well, he's probably European, but yeah, he's probably.
Does his name rhyme with Stein
I don't think so.
or Berg?
Not for soccer. I would not guess that for soccer.
Oh.
Does it rhyme with Eller?
Eller.
What?
Rockefeller?
Oh, no.
And I guess the next question would be, should they be paid that much money?
Right. And the other thing is women athletes don't get paid nearly as much.
What?
So I think like the highest paid female athlete is Serena Williams. So he had Ronaldo made, 88 million?
Mm-hmm.
Serena is at 28.9 million.
Oh,
Damn.
Chump
okay.
change,
Couple
which would
pennies.
put her at like, I don't know, even like not even the top
100?
25.
And you think that's just because she's a woman?
Yeah, because there's male tennis players who are on the top
Oh, I see.
5. Mm-hmm.
Is she better than them? They should have male versus
Yeah,
female.
she is. I mean, she dominates her sport more than the male tennis players. But that's because of the competition isn't as great.
Why don't they have female versus male in tennis at the very
They
least?
should. I would like to see that.
Because I mean, I get why they might not want women to play football. For one, they're not physically built the same as male football players, but all other things being equal, I think tennis would be a good match.
But again, it's so the consumers don't really care to watch female
No.
athletes play. They're not as athletic, according to them. They don't like if you watch women's basketball compared with men's basketball, there is a big difference. They can't jump as high. They're not
Can't
as
dunk.
tall.
Not much dunking. going on.
Guys like to see men that kind of stuff.
that noise
Just
right
brute
there
noise,
says it all.
primitive,
Like
caveman mentality.
But that's what America values, right? They want that. So again, it's a marketing tactic. Don't underestimate the how marketing works, because these people, they know how to get under your skin. They know how to appeal to your mind, and especially for the bras, it works.
the disparity in the highest paid male basketball player. Guess who that is? Or who do you think is the highest paid basketball player?
LeBron,
Right. He's at 77.2 million. The
he's
highest
not
paid
too
women's
far off.
Yeah, the highest paid women's basketball player, 101,000
Oh, that
in the
is
WNBA. They get paid more overseas, actually. Like in China, they can get up to.
China.
I love the China. I love the China all the time.
I like the Chinese.
So the Chinese apparently like women's basketball better than American.
Good old China.
So the question you asked is, are they paid too much?
Are they paid too much?
But that's the wrong question.
What is the right question then? How should I formulate it?
The question
wrong?
It's not a question. It's we allowed it. It's whatever we allow.
So shouldn't, I mean, what do they provide to society? Like we talked about entertainment, companionship, it's fun. But they're not providing like an important thing to society, like education.
Yeah. Oh,
Teachers, shouldn't they make
That's-
$88 million a year salary?
I think that's why I mentioned the private versus public sector, because the teacher salary comes from the public sector, and there's no rich white Jewish guy or white whatever. Everyone knows the Jews control the world, so there's no white rich. Even the Jews would admit it. There's no rich white Jewish guy that really cares to bid a lot of money on, hey, Professor Felice's philosophy class, let's make him rich and market him and sell philosophy hats and t-shirts. And
Students aren't clamoring to get into your class.
Yeah.
It depends what university.
Buying your
right.
Argyle sweaters with your name on it.
Yeah, right. Yes, the Argyle socks. So I get that education has much more value than entertainment, sports entertainment, but I think because the public doesn't put so much value or a price tag on it, then it just becomes something.
Well, how could we make teachers the most highest paying profession in the country? How could we do that?
By like you said, by manipulating the audience, making it seem like that's
So, but there is no audience watching teachers. So
You gotta put
Is
it.
it, are you talking about like a
have like a
teacher game, championship game?
Or just have
or something?
broadcast a philosophy classroom, and then I could dance and sing and do Broadway.
Yeah. What I don't understand then, and would probably take a lot more time to discuss, is so the whole higher education. It costs a ton of money to go to one of these schools, and they have their own athletic program, so they make millions of dollars from their top sports like basketball, football. A lot of schools have these, like even Arizona State has a huge athletic program. They bring in tons of money every year. And
those the people who control Albertotle University.
These high ranking people,
they get a lot of money.
They're getting a lot of money, but not their low.
Why do they get?
But not the what, Paul Lato?
The lowly professors. They're not getting that piece of the pie.
Good point. I always think about that every day. Why don't they distribute that big hunk of buckazoid bling bling to the professors?
Because you got to think about why they're getting all that money. Is it from the sports? Does Arizona have
enrollment?
State have a lot of sports?
I have to do the math. Get the breakdown. The percentage.
We got to get the breakdown.
How much of the money that's coming?
Research? Is it from these geeky, nerdy professors bringing in some good research?
Yes. No, it's from the sports.
Because we know that UC Irvine that they get a lot of research done, but does that money go back to the teachers?
But no. And that's inherently, that should be wrong.
So that would be a whole other debate, but it just brings, if we talk about education, how valuable it is to society. You have sports, which is such a huge entertainment value, which is important. You need entertainment, and it brings in a ton of money. But why can't we somehow find a common meeting ground where, okay, maybe the athletic teams or departments get a lot of that money, but distribute it a little bit more to the people providing the education, that foundation for the students.
Yeah, so it's just not well distributed right now, and
because they're greedy. Greed has a lot to do with it.
Well, if you go back to the election and who voted a certain way, those people probably aren't that highly educated. I think we had a show, right, where we discussed the education level of the voters, and it was pretty low. And the oligarchies in control have a motivation to keep our education low?
That's another topic. So there's a reason why we don't want to place a high value on education, because we want to keep the masses dumb and ignorant and stuck in their mental straitjacket so they can keep voting for frickin' idiot fascist demagogues like Trump, and then they redo the cycle. And they're misusing sports. I mean, sports is important.
Yeah, what do you think is the education level of beer guzzlers and bras?
I don't know.
There's your answer. There's your answer.
All right.
Figured it out.
Time for a quick game of how the hell do you put on that goddamn poncho?
They fool me. We can't get fooled again.
Speaking of IQ levels.
Yeah, speaking of IQ levels.
I'm serious about it.
What? What was he trying to say?
So during Donald Trump's pessimistic, fear-inducing inaugural address about the end of the world and American carnage, to lighten things up a little bit, we had our good old buddy George W. Bush trying to put on a rain poncho.
It took him the length of the speech to even...
I don't think
16 minutes worth.
Well, he never got it on.
No, he never got it on. He gave up and just
gave
smothered it over his face somehow and committed suicide and suffocated himself.
So
I think we need to provide then for our listeners, it's a difficult thing, but how do you put on a poncho?
Yeah, so we each have a set of instructions for people like George W. Bush, how to put on a poncho. But putting on a poncho is not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult, even for people with a high IQ, I think. Maybe.
So Steveocrates, provide us with the instructions for putting on a poncho.
So I didn't exactly write my instructions down, but there's 3 easy steps. And it's a particular design of a poncho that I highly recommend for W. All it is, it's a if you were to lay it flat on the ground, it's a plastic sheet with a hole in it. And then attached to that hole is a hood. That's the only one I would recommend for W. It doesn't have any sleeves, anything like that. So step 1, lay plastic sheet flat on ground.
Okay.
Step 2, locate hole that you would put your head through. You have to locate it. It's important. Step 3, place head through hole.
Through said hole.
Yeah. through said hole.
You don't want to put it through the hole in the wall.
No. And then, ta-da!
And that's it.
Your poncho is now on.
All right.
Wow.
That's very good.
Three easy steps.
3 easy steps.
3 easy steps.
Okay. That should work, I think.
I think it should work, but you can't get the one with the sleeves because then it gets way too complicated.
It's even easier than becoming president.
Well, that might be a complication, is trying to find that kind of poncho. Do they even exist?
Well, we'd have to design one specially for W.
Yeah, I'm sure they have some made just for those types of people.
George W. Poncho.
Yeah. All right,
So what's yours?
I guess I'll do my Vince Scully
I
instructions.
think there's a dissertation we got here. Okay.
No, I'll do it real quick. All right. Carefully examine your poncho so you're familiar with it. You will see that it has 3 holes. So this is the complicated one. I'm assuming I didn't know they had just 1 hole ponchos.
I don't know.
The hole near the center is for your goddamn noggin. The hole on the left is for your left arm, and the hole on the right is for your right arm. The noggin hole will be a lot bigger than the arm holes. The noggin hole will also have a hood along the edges to pull over your big noggin. Step 2. With your left and right hand, grab along the edges of the noggin hole and insert your noggin through the opening. Kind of like when you were a kid putting on an ugly red sweater for the first time. Once your head is through the hole, with your right and your left hand, pull the hood over your face so that the plastic securely wraps around your face.
That's dangerous.
Be
You might
careful.
suffocate.
Be careful not to suffocate.
Okay.
In any case, as you're doing this, it's important that you accidentally hit anyone standing behind you in the face, or if you're sitting on a chair, make sure you accidentally hit that person in the face. Because I guess Bush accidentally hit Dick Cheney. He was behind him.
Dick Cheney?
He got hit in the head while Bush was trying to put on his poncho.
He's still alive? All right.
Step 3. Once the hoodie is securely snug on your face, with both hands, drape the entire plastic garment over your body. Smooth out any crinkles. Step 4. You should now see 2 holes near both of your arms. Insert your right arm through the right hole and insert your left hand through the left hole. Note, if you do not see any holes because you're an idiot, then punch a hole through each side of your garment. Step 5. You should be able to freely move your arms unencumbered. In fact, go ahead and flap your arms like an ostrich. I said ostrich because they can't fly even if they flap their wings, and neither can humans fly even if they flap their arms. Congratulations, you are now wearing your plastic rain poncho made by little kids in Indonesia for less than a nickel, not including tax.
Gita helped make it?
Those were
Or
instructions.
Kids?
Specially made for George W. Bush.
There you go.
Okay.
I think a lot of people appreciate that.
That's detailed.
Yeah. So, okay, here's my instructions. Step 1, grab the poncho. You want to make sure you have it in your hand. Step 2, attempt to unwrap it, but don't unwrap it all the way. Just sort
Notice
of
it's an attempt.
Step 3, put the poncho on your head. Even though it's not completely unwrapped, just put it on your head, see what happens, hope it falls through the right way. Step
Cross your
4,
fingers.
struggle to get your head through any type of opening you can. Just try whatever you can. Try to force it through. Step 5, make a grumpy face. Make a grumpy face so people can take a picture of it.
Put on media.
6, look behind at the guy sitting. Look at the guy sitting behind you. See if he might help you, or make a face at him like, "Hey, this is complicated." Step 7. I think I'm on step 7.
He feels your pain.
Make another dumb face. Step 8, then place it back onto your head. Step 9, just give up. Don't even put it on. Step 10, just try to act cool like you're Barack Obama. Don't even wear a poncho. And
Barack's cool.
The final step, say, mission accomplished.
Did he do that?
Ouch.
I think he mouthed it. People could see him say that.
Mission accomplished.
Did I say those words?
You actually described the step-by-step process of what actually happened.
That's actually, you're right. That's exactly how
And
George
I think
Bush.
most people do that. That's how most people try to put on a poncho.
Next time you're at an inauguration ceremony, just make sure you follow all these steps.
I just try to be cool. I wouldn't bring one.
Just get rained on.
Yeah.
Be cool. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to see Donald Trump try to put on a poncho.
That's the next inauguration.
What? I
That's-
thought of a different design from Albert's description. You just have a plastic sheet you could just punch holes through.
Yeah, just grab
Why
a
not?
plastic
Make it
sheet
easier.
and punch holes through with your arms and your head.
And then it'd have just a separate cap for your head, not even attached.
A baseball cap. Too bad it wasn't windy during the inaugural address. I was hoping and praying that there was going to be powerful gusts of wind so that while Trump was doing his speech, his hair would flap.
Oh, the flap.
That would have been a great picture.
Yeah.
Wait, but we have a picture of that, right?
Yeah.
That's a real picture?
But that would have been great if that actually happened.
You probably had extra plaster glue.
Elmer's or super glue.
Yeah, Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue wouldn't have worked.
And he probably went through like 10 cans of hairspray. Make sure it's just with no wisps of hair.
It's such a so matty.
Okay, well that concludes our show.
Bye.
With that,
that is it. We hope you enjoy listening. Thanks for listening to ASP Stuff Radio. We are all stuffed up.
And over the years, Jerry, the poncho is not the easiest wardrobe to work with.
It seems like a lot of people have trouble getting that on. You can't find the head part of it. You don't know if it's the arms, the head.
Very confusing. Still trying to figure it out.
That's got to be the head part right
That's
there.
my guess, because it's got the hoodie. Although we can't find the other arm.
Maybe it's defected poncho.
It could be. There could be no other arm. Or maybe there is no other arm. Maybe the only hole is the head.
Okay, that's got to be the head, right?
Well, he's already got one arm.
One arm's in. Where's the other arm?
He's got a defective poncho.
And the wind has shifted here at Fenway, blowing everything now toward right field as we continue to look at the gentleman trying to put on the poncho.
I see it. I just saw the hole.
He's going for it right now.
Okay.
No?
On one side, there's got to be a hole on that other side. There has to be.
It's got a hood and everything.
Yeah, the hood. That's how we know that's the right part. I said, forget it. I'm going one arm.
Should have Gary interview him.